This is the second time I filmed this intro because in the first intro I didn't realize that my lash had completely popped off and was just like this, like it was just like pew! Anyways, hey guys, so today I have a tutorial for this date night glam makeup tutorial. I used a lot of kind of like pinks and reds and purple tones, a little bit out of my comfort zone, but Jake and I have been together for like 2.5 years, so he's seen all of the makeup looks that I do, and it's not often that I get to like really get dolled up and glamorous and go out, because most of the time when I get dolled up and glamorous, I'm sitting in this chair and I take it off like 5 minutes later and I'm wearing sweatpants. So whenever Jake and I go out on date nights, I always like to get a little bit more glamorous than I normally would and a little bit girlier than I normally would, just because it's fun for me and he doesn't get to see it as often. I have done this look quite a few times. I've done it on Instagram, I think, and then I've posted like looks similar to this on Snapchat and Instagram, but I got a lot of asks to do a tutorial for it, and I've also gotten a lot of requests to do a date night tutorial, so I figured I'd just mesh those two because this I think is an awesome date night, dramatic, kind of sultry makeup look. So if you guys want to see how I achieved this look, then just keep watching. Okay guys, let's get started. So first I'm just going to prime my skin with my NYX color correcting primer liquid, and I'm just going to concentrate this in the center of my face where I have the most redness. I like this stuff because it counteracts redness a little bit, and then it also just illuminates the skin in the prettiest way. And usually since I have oily skin, I'm not like super for illuminated skin, but since date nights are usually relatively short, you know, you don't need your makeup to last all day, it's gonna work fine. Then for foundation, I'm gonna use my Urban Decay Naked Skin. I like this because it just looks like your skin, but perfected. It also doesn't transfer a lot, so if you know you're hugging and snuggling, you're not gonna have like foundation getting all over their shirt. Okay, then I'm just going to conceal and highlight with my Catrice High Coverage Camouflage Concealer. I'm also going to use this to prime my eyes, so I'm just bringing whatever's left up onto my lids. Then I'm just going to set my under eyes with my NYX contour palette. I'm going to take a combination of these middle setting shades. I'm also going to bring this up on top, or up on my lids. And then if you see any more redness picking through, I'll just grab just some of that yellow powder and just stamp it on top of the redness, just because it helps to kind of counteract and brighten. Then I'm just going to set the rest of my face with my NYX Set It and Don't Fret It. And then I'm going to fill in my eyebrows using my Anastasia Brow Definer in Granite. So you guys, I used to be so terrified. Oh my gosh, I just messed up. I used to be so terrified of like going out with a boy, and like if we end up like making out or something and my eyebrows like rub off on him, like if he would like judge me and I'd have to like run to the bathroom and like fix my makeup so that my eyebrows don't look crazy, because they would smudge, like they would like smudge on my face, on his face, and like it was just really embarrassing for me, and like honestly embarrassing, not just like, ah haha, that's funny. Like I was legitimately like scared of that happening because it was so embarrassing, and like it didn't happen like often, but you know, when you first meet somebody and you start going out on dates, especially when you wear and love as much makeup as I do, it can kind of be intimidating, especially because like you don't know if they're gonna like, you're like, ugh, like this is gross, why are her eyebrows coming off? But what I've learned is that if a man or a woman, whoever you are dating, if the person you're dating can't appreciate how much you love makeup and how much work you put in to getting your eyebrows perfect and how much it makes you feel good about yourself, and if they make fun of you if like your eyebrow rubs off when you're making out or something, you need to just skip along, because they obviously don't care about something that you care about, and they're obviously really immature if they make fun of you for something like makeup, you know what I mean? So if I could tell my past self something, it would be, don't let fuckboys make you less confident about your makeup. Okay, brows are done. Now I'm just gonna set them down with a little of my NYX Control Freak Brow Gel. And then let's move on straight to eyeshadow. So for this look, I'm going to use shades from my Makeup Geek Favorites palette. So all of the shadows that I will be using, unless I say otherwise, are going to be Makeup Geek. And if you guys want to see a full video on this palette and my favorite Makeup Geek shades, I will leave that down below. The first color I'm going to take is Cupcake by Makeup Geek, and this is just a really, really soft kind of peachy pink. So I'm just going to take that on my Sigma E40. And we're just going to buff this in the crease just to lay down a transition shade. I'm going to go right next door and I'm going to pick up the shade Tuscan Sun. This is one of their newer shades and it's just a little bit warmer version of Cupcake. It has a little bit more kind of peachy tones, whereas Cupcake is a little bit cooler undertoned. And I'm just going to pop that just right on top just to add a little bit more of a pop of color. And I'm really focusing this in the crease and not so much in the outer V because we're going to use darker shades for the outer V. So I'm just going to work back and forth. And I'm going to pop this a little bit on my lower lash line. The next shade I'm going to take is Bitten by Makeup Geek. It's just a really, really pretty kind of rusty brick purpley red. I'm going to take this on. This is a Live and Breathe Beauty I'm Turning Pro eyeshadow brush. I'm just going to pick some of that color up and I'm just going to start packing it in the outer corner. And then once the bulk of the color is kind of packed down, I'll just start blending a little bit. I'm just going to keep building this color up. So I'm just wiggling my brush back and forth and then blending into the crease. And it's okay if it gets on our lid because we're going to cover that with a brighter shade. Then I'm going to take a small blending brush. This is the Morphe M507 and I'm going to go in with the shade Taboo, which is a really, really pretty kind of blackened plum color. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to pack it right in that outer corner. So again, I'm just going to pack and then wiggle my brush back and forth so that it blends. I'm also going to drag this kind of down to my outer V. Then we're just going to work on the lower lash line a little bit. I'm going to take, this is the Small Crease Brush by Makeup Geek, just a dense pencil brush. And I'm just going to take a little bit of Bitten and place it on my lower lash line. Then I'm going to take Corrupt, which is their black shadow, which is a matte black shadow. And I'm going to stamp this lower in my outer V along my lash line and then work it up into that crease and outer V. So I'm just going to stamp most of the color just right on that corner of my eye. Then I'll just wiggle my brush back and forth on my lower lash line and then work it up so that it kind of connects with that Taboo color. Then I'm going to go back in with the brush that we used for Taboo. I picked up a little bit more Taboo, but I literally just went like this in the pan, like the tiniest amount. And we're just going to blend that all together. Then I'm just going to take a flat, stiff brush. I'm just going to wet my brush with a little bit of my All Natural Face Fix-It Mist. It's a vegan Fix Plus dupe. So I'm just going to wet my brush. And then I'm going to pick up the shade Whimsical. This is a foiled shadow by Makeup Geek, and it's just a really, really pretty kind of icy lavender pink. So I'm just going to load my brush up and just pack this on the lid. So I'm focusing most of the color on the inner lid, and then when I get out to this outer part of my lid, I'm just going to pat so that it blends softly into that dark shadow. Okay, then I'm going to go do the other eye off camera real quick. Okay, then I'm just going to highlight my brow bone real quick with the shade White Lies from Makeup Geek. It's just their super pigmented white shadow. And then I always like going back with the brush that we used for the transition color and just blend the transition color into the brow bone color just so it's really, really seamless. Okay, and then I'm going to do some winged liner. For this, I'm going to use my NYX Matte Liquid Liner. This is seriously one of the best liquid liners I've ever tried, ever. It's so good. And I'm going to keep it really thin through here, almost non-existent, and then make it a little bit thicker as we go out. And I like to keep my eyes open when I do my winged liner, just so that way I can see how it's going to look when my eyes are open. Because sometimes when you do winged liner when your eyes are closed, it looks awesome when your eyes are closed, but then when you open your eyes, it looks all like funky and janky. That's all. Just a little bitty baby wing. Okay, and that is it for eyeliner. I want to keep it really simple. I just want the shadow to be the main look. Now if you want to go for a kind of girlier, more wide awake look, you can use a nude liner on your waterline, but I like to keep things a little bit grungy even when I'm going like girly glam. So I'm just going to take this Colourpop gel liner in Besto and I'm just going to pop that on my lower lash line. If you want to go for even more dramatic, you can use black and then blend it down into the Bitten shade that we have on our lower lash line as well. Okay, let's move on to cheeks. So I'm just going to dip into my e.l.f. bronzer palette. I'm going to mix these two shades, actually these two shades. I'm going to kind of mix all of them together, but I think I'm mostly going to use those two right there. And I'm just going to use this Eco Tools like brush that I've had forever. This is going to kind of be my contour and bronze all in one. I don't really want to like heavy contour, just kind of a bronzed contour. And then for blush, I'm going to use this NYX ombre blush in Mauve Me. So good. I'm just going to use that same brush. And I'm going to kind of dip in to that lighter shade in there as well. Yes, this is so pretty. And then for highlight, I'm going to use this Physicians Formula Shimmer Strips highlighter. And I'm just going to kind of do one of these back and forth across the pinky tones. And then I'm just going to set it down with my Wet n Wild Photo Focus Setting Spray. Oh no, it's almost out. Oh, it's getting squirty. Oh no. Okay, so I'm almost out of that one and it's like squirting on my face. So I'm going to use my Pixie Makeup Fixing Mist. Stuff smells like grandma's. For lips, I'm going to be using my favorite lipstick of all time. This is Jeffree Star's Celebrity Skin. I love this color because it's totally kiss-proof, so whoever you're on a date with won't have lipstick all over their face. And I like this because if you're going on a date to like eat, or if you're going to like movies and you're gonna have popcorn, anything where you're gonna be eating and like your lipstick might come off, I like this because since it is a nude, when it starts to kind of wear off, it doesn't look really bad. You know what I mean? How like sometimes when you wear a deep dramatic lip look or lip and then you start eating and it starts wearing off, it just looks terrible. This one doesn't do that. So I'm just going to be using this. It's a beautiful kind of deep nude and it's my favorite. I literally need a backup of it. You can hardly see the logo on it anymore. The stars are all worn off. Like, I have used the shit out of this thing. It's ridiculous. Okay, and then for lashes, I'm going to use the Cocoa Lashes in the style Bella. Okay guys, and this is the completed look. And as always, if you don't feel comfortable wearing falsies, you don't have to wear falsies. I just like wearing them because it's date night, so might as well go all out. I got my giant gold hoops on. You just go, it's date night, go all out, have fun. So you guys, this is the completed look. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe before you leave, and let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!